Pokémon. Let's talk about types. Countless video games have some sort of elemental pyramid, square, but none are quite as iconic as the tried and true pocket monsters. Fire beats grass, beats water, beats fire, and just like that, we've reinvented rock, paper, scissors. And that's really all the thinking you have to do in Pokemon. But I hear you saying, what if there were some new ones? Well, then I would answer that actually happened once back in Gen 2. That's what the last time they added a new type. Sorry, the last time they added a new good type. So, since it's been 7 generations, clearly, we're due for a new one. And I have taken the time, the liberty, and the effort to go through the vast internet, pick out a couple that I think could be pretty cool, should they grace us as the 19th type of the roster. So let's talk about that a little bit. First up, this is one of the 2 big ones on Fakemon, Fanamon, games, forums, wherever people are talking about Pokemon and the concept of a new type comes up, this is one of the 2 that comes up, and that would, of course, be Light type.
Think fast, Chucklenut!
Light type has a lot of potential. First off, it interacts pretty well with some existing types already. You could do an interesting thing with light and dark being super effective into each other. I don't think there are any types currently that are super effective into each other. You've got Dragon, which is super effective against itself, and Ghost, which does the same thing. But I'm trying to think through anything that's like rock beats ground beats rock. Doesn't exist, and I don't think it exists anywhere. Here's your chance to call me stupid. Alright, that's the truth. Anyway, this could be a cool sort of double-edged sword type of thing in that way. Obviously, light would be good against Ghost. You could do it against bugs for the whole, like, moth to a flame type of thing. Bug zapper, that whole deal. And then, controversially, convexly, concavely, condescending, completely full of shit, completely has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. On the other side of the coin, things that would beat light, I could see an argument for fire and electricity, things that produce light on their own. Fairy does tragically get a little bit in there. I could see that making sense. And steel. Another thing for steel to resist because of like mirrors and reflection type of thing. And then you could give it you could give grass a light type immunity because of photosynthesis. And I think that all kind of blends together really well. But what would a new type be without a new type of either terrain or status? So for that, I pose to you Blinded. Obviously, it's light, you blinded, it makes total sense. My editor did help me come up with some of the concepts here, and I'm reading these in real time. They proposed a 33% chance to just miss outright, which is the same odds as Confusion. So it's worse Confusion. So instead of that, we're gonna do the opposite of Confusion. 66% chance to miss. Confusion, you hit yourself, or Blinded, you just miss, and it's the same odds. Why would anyone ever use that? I guess as a secondary to a move that you're gonna use anyway. Speaking of things that already exist, Pokemon that already exist that would fit this type. Chinchou line come to mind, the little light guys down in the sea. Ampharos, maybe the entire Ampharos line, but certainly Ampharos, the lighthouse Pokemon. Volbeat, but not Illumise, because one of them is a Firefly and the other is not. I could see an argument for Manaphy and Phione, the whole Tail Glow. Also, definitely make Tail Glow a light type move rather than the bug type, because that never made a ton of sense anyway. Firefly, but you see what I'm getting at here. And, of course, God himself, Arceus, the being of light, the 1,000 hands of light. Whatever that whole lore is. It doesn't make sense that God is normal. I'm still a little upset. I get that it's meant to be the, like, centrist option of all the types. It feels lacking. And so I think instead of being a default normal type, Arceus should be a default light type because he's God. And that's how I feel about that. Light, though, and calling back to when I said this a second ago, this is one of the 2 big ones. Well, the other one of those is Sound type. I've seen a million Fakemon with Sound type. This comes up so often. Hell, I think somebody made a Lucio Pokemon. What would Sound type do? Well, let's just see. Sound type could be good against Psychic as it sort of breaks concentration. Could be good against dark, sort of echolocation type vibe. It could be good against ground for like a dowsing rod sort of thing, although that's not exactly sound. But there's plenty of, it's a thing in like looking for oil and gold reserves and things like that. You use sound to kind of, and tectonics. The thing for earthquakes, the earthquake measuring, let's see, seismogram? I don't know. That's sound-based, so that could be good against ground. Or alternately, I could see that being an argument for sound type resisting ground, because it like can see it coming. I could also see an argument for being resisted by water, because sound waves travel through water less quickly. And also, sound type could be not very effective against light type, because light moves faster than sound. Where does the status condition come in for this? Well, we had blinded. Obviously, we need deafened. What does deafened do? Deafened gives your Pokemon a 33% chance to use the wrong move, similar to when you're using a Pokemon that's too high level and you don't have the badge for it. It's just got a chance to literally not be able to hear the orders you're giving it and then use the wrong move. You can see this being one of the less debilitating status conditions because you've got, like, confusion is lesser than burn or poisoned. That it can probably be another one that goes away when you switch out. Like attraction is another one of those weird ones. This could definitely go into that category. But then maybe it lasts for a while until you get something that deals with it or until you switch. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Just that one just sticks around until you do something to get rid of it. Pokemon that fit this new type, I hear you asking. Well, I have plenty of answers for you. Whismurline, easy plug. Chingling, his watch is eternal. Didn't you know? Now he can watch from sound type. Toxtricity makes sense. Chatot makes sense. Pretty much every bat makes sense. Maybe not Crobat. Crobat should be a friend type.
You are dead, Crobat.
I forgot my lore. I hate Crobat. No! Kricketune! And of course, Maractus. Maractus, side tangent. I fucking love Maractus. Maractus is my go-to, like, whenever we're discussing Pokemon that are easily forgettable, like a no one's favorite type of Pokemon, Maractus is my go-to. I don't know what it is about that. It's just a Maraca cactus. It's dumb, but like, I don't know. I love Maractus. Sound off if you love Maractus, because I love Maractus. And sound off with your favorite, like, this is a forgotten Pokemon that I actually love. I want to hear some love for the lesser Pokemon that no one calls out super often. Also, weird one that I could see going either way. Get my boy Klefki in there. Get some jingling keys, make him a steel sound type so we can get rid of the fucking fairy. Another type that I see a lot of on the internet, mainly in these two places, is nuclear type. And I think that could be really cool, especially as we're getting into a more like current era with nuclear power plants. We could do a whole thing. I mean, we could do the plot of Pokemon Uranium. Pokemon Uranium was so cool, man. I'm so sad that Nintendo tried to can it. If you can find Pokemon Uranium and play it, you should. It's great. I downloaded that the day that it released, and it was really cool. I played it, I think, to completion, or at least completion at the time. But if anyone found a way to archive that and it's on the internet, I don't know if it is. But if it is, I think you should play it. I think it's really good. Anyway, nuclear type obviously beats grass. This could be another thing that's super effective on normal, because normal things are susceptible to radiation. Obviously, it is not very effective against steel, because like lead, that's how you deal with radiation. Anyway, it could be resisted by bug, the whole cockroach thing. Cockroaches can survive a nuclear explosion. They can't survive being squished on. I still think bug type should be super effective into bug. I'm still on that from this video. Go check out Justice for Bug types. And obviously, the status condition for this one is irradiated. Now, what does that mean? It could mean a number of things. I could see it being like a sort of Half-Life style decaying of stats, like almost an opposite of Moxie. Not Moxie. Is Moxie the one that does a random... No, Moxie's the one that's like Beast Boost. What's the one where every turn something goes up, two things go up and one thing comes down? Or something goes up harshly and the other thing goes down regularly. Whatever that ability, this ability, I could see irradiated doing something like that, where it's just chunking your health, your stats. I could also see it being something like Curse. Maybe, ooh, here's my pitch that I'm coming up in real time. If a Pokemon is irradiated, it takes 25% of its health each turn. But any other Pokemon on the field, regardless of which side they're on, also takes maybe 12.5%, just from proximity to radiation. And then anything that is nuclear type is immune to it. Similar to how poison is immune to poison type. Or, here's my other pitch, turn toxic into irradiated. Just the poisoned radiation. And then you can make poison and radioactive both immune to both of those. So that we can take a little bit of the, like, it's weird that poison type gets two. It gets poison and it gets toxic. I see that it's like the same thing and it's meant to be a greater thing, but I think it makes more sense if you take that away and just have poison be the poison thing, and then toxic can be irradiated and still work the way that toxic does now. Also, I think that would make sense for how almost every Pokemon gets the move toxic, because like, if this thing can spit out a literal heat wave, there's something radioactive inside of it. As for things that could be this type, well, a lot of the pollution-y ones come to mind. We could go with a lowland Grimer. I could also see an argument for a new type of Grimer. Similarly, Galarian Wheezing, and maybe Galarian Wheezing evolves from whatever Gen 10's coughing is, whatever that region is, and it becomes a weird, like, mashing of family tree style evolution things. And that could be nuclear because they're like smokestacks already, and it could be, instead of smokestacks, it could be like the nuclear towers. Plus that's another chance to get rid of a fairy typing. We could also see a new like convergent evolution for Trubbish with like Trubbin and Garbarrel, maybe something like that. Just versions of them that are nuclear waste instead of regular waste. And here's my hot take. Since we're going back with Legends ZA, no, that's dumb. Since we're going back with Legends and we're theoretically getting Megas back, I had the thought that Mega Charizard X should be nuclear type. Partially because it is very Godzilla. Mainly because it's got the, like, way more fire, so way more energy coming out of it. The skin goes black, the fire is blue, and then we give Dragon type to Charizard Y. So, I think Charizard X should be nuclear type. But, I'll do you one better. I'll do you one much better. We're going back to Kalos. For Pokemon Legends ZA. That's stupid. That's a stupid title. We're going back for Pokemon Legends. There are great theories, and it may have actually been confirmed, I'm not sure. Fact check me on that. That Megas are coming back. And so I posit to you this. Instead of whatever they were originally, the thing that is causing the return of Megas and the greater plot, since we are building, all of this is seemingly set in Lumio City. It's got something to do with the power grid. We have to power this whole huge grand city. Nuclear power, nuclear type. All of the Megas gain nuclear type. And I hear the complaints. I heard that gasp. Then every Mega Evolution would lose one of its two types that make it interesting. And here's what I have to say to that. We're going to move on to the next type, which is Reverse type. It does exactly what it sounds like, and it fully doesn't fit the mold of the other types, because any Pokemon with Reverse type just has its types inverted. So, Grass, if I'm a Grass Reverse type, Grass is now super effective against Fire. Very simple. Simple concept. It's just flipping stuff on its head. Here's the thing. It only works with dual types. It doesn't make sense alone. So, wrapping back into that thing I was saying about Megas, we can finally do that thing that I've wanted and that I talked about in this video. It's time for triple-typed Pokemon. That's the gimmick. That's the gimmick for Gen 10, or for Legends, or for whatever the next spin-off game. We need triple-type Pokemon. We can count up to 8 now. It's okay. Most 4-time super effective moves already crit, or already one-shot. It's okay for us to have triple types. We can have times 8. Or resistant 8. It's not that big a deal. I promise it's okay. And it'll give a little bit more complexity to the whole rock, paper, scissors nonsense. Fire beats steel, but fire doesn't beat ground, so it's neutral. And the only thing you can have is super and neutral and not. Now you can have like middle, and it upsets me. I'm ready for more complexity. Give me something. Give me another layer that isn't just, oh no, it's big. Snorlax gets a tree on it. He's ripping off Torterra. Gigantamax Snorlax, you're ripping off Torterra. You're a fucking coward. And I will thank you to find the door. It's right there. Leave. Anyway, Reverse type. I didn't have A ton of ideas for this one. The Inkay line, Inkay and Malamar. We could get Plusle and Minun doing reverse type. That could be a cool, because they're like flipping. Volbeat and Loomies makes a return here. Loomies gets to actually play this time. And of course, obviously, Giratina. From the reverse world, the distortion world, reverse type. Throw him in there. Makes total sense. Plus, it's another excuse for him to stomp on fair. And if we're doing reverse type and type, well, of course we need something to go here for the special condition, but I don't think that this one should be a status condition. I think this is where we get another terrain. I bet you can guess what it does. Inverted terrain. It just applies type inversion to every Pokemon on the field. And finally, my last suggestion, my fifth special type to be added, to bring the roster right on up to a tasty little 23. I think we should go for an item type. That's right, all those Pokemon that is just a stuff brought to life. Let's give it item type. Item type beats steel, grass, rock, common building materials. It's beaten by fighting, ghost for like the same reason that the move poltergeist works. Beaten by ground for like earthquake reasons, support reasons. I think you could also make item type resist grass. Do a whole like microplastics in the ocean type of thing. Maybe it also resists water too. And then similar to the move freeze dry, you could give grass types something like, I don't know, biodegrade. A special move that instead of being not very effective into item type, it's super effective into item type, a la freeze dry. I think that could be a cool little interaction with each other. And then as for the item status, well, that's easy. You give it I don't know what the title is, but you give it like item blockade. Pokemon can't use their held items. Or they can't use like potions and shit if you're not in competitive. And finally, as one little bonus for you, there was my lovely editor did suggest a cosmic type. Now the problem I see with cosmic type is I don't see it interacting with a bunch of existing types, but they do make an excellent example of some Pokemon that would fit that. So my question to you is, we've added a cosmic type to the game. What does it do? What's it good against? What's it bad against? What is good against it? What's bad against it? Does it have a status condition? Does it have a terrain effect? Is it like electric type and it has both? Leave it in the comments. I want to see what you can do. And remember that this would apply to things like the Cleffa line, Lunatone and Solrock, obviously, Elgyem, the Space Boys, Larvesta and Larvitar, weirdly enough. Not Larvitar. Larvesta and Volcarona, Jesus. Because fun fact, they come from the fucking sun. Deoxys, Minior, stuff like that. So there you go. What does Cosmic type do? I'll accept all and any answers, as long as it beats Fairy type. What do you think? What types do you want to see? What is the worst one? What's the best one of this video? What do you think about things? What do you feel? What's your greatest ambition in life? My greatest ambition in life is for you to subscribe to the Patreon. What's on the Patreon you didn't ask? Well, I'll tell you anyway. We've got extended cuts, alternate cuts, this poor sap reading my Immortal for the first time. I promise it's coming, I have to get it edited. All sorts of wacky shenanigans. Previews for videos, live real-time reactions to when my friends put me through horrible video essays. Friends, you say? Friends and patrons. Patrons like Malayik. The only one that their name is being said out loud. But here's the other ones. Thanks, guys. You could be a guys. You could join the guys. I might even say your name. And if you don't want to pay me money, which, like, I get it, times are kind of tough, come hang out in the Discord. The Discord's where we do fun things. It's where I'll be having those Gravity Falls watch parties for one Danny Mata, seeing as that's probably started coming out by now. If not, it'll definitely be out next week. So the watch parties begin for our little bet we've got going on. Check out last week's video to know what I'm talking about, if you haven't, and we do other stuff in there also. And I hope to see you there because I want to have more friends in the Discord to be friends with. That's all. I just want more friends. So does Creamtown. Good night, everyone.